Our compound was like a small village, 5 families all squeezed into one big yard. We had our own routines, our own dramas, our own inside jokes. Everyone knew everyone's business, especially Mama Ibeji, our landlady. She was the queen of this castle. Her word was law. We had Mama Nkechi, always cooking up a storm. Her pepper soup could wake the dead. Then there was Mr. Okafor, the retired teacher. He spent his days reading newspapers and chasing after his noisy goats. Add to the mix a young couple, newly married and always whispering sweet nothings. And then there was me, just trying to mind my business and survive the daily drama. Life in the compound was never dull. There was always something happening. A fight over a missing bucket, a celebration with loud music, gossip spreading faster than wildfire. It was chaotic and cramped, but it was home. And in this kingdom of ours, Mama Ibeji reigned supreme. Mama Ibeji was a force of nature. She was a large woman, built like a wrestler with a voice that could shake the ground. She always wore brightly colored Ankara dresses, her head tied with a matching jele. Her face, though often stern, could break into a surprisingly warm smile. But that was a rare sight, reserved for special occasions. Mama Ibeji ruled the compound with an iron fist. She knew everything about everyone. Who was visiting whom, who was behind on rent, who was cooking what for dinner. Nothing escaped her watchful eyes. She was quick to scold, quick to reprimand, but deep down, everyone knew she had a good heart. She cared about her tenants, even if she showed it in her own special way. Landlady, as Mama Ibeji. Nothing escapes my eyes. I see everything. You better behave yourselves. Her weapon of choice? Her infamous mummy look. One glance from her could silence a room full of chattering tenants. It was a look that conveyed disappointment, disapproval, and a silent threat all at once. We all feared the mummy look. It was better to stay on her good side, which wasn't always easy. Baba Ibeji, on the other hand, was the complete opposite of his wife. He was a quiet, gentle man, always smiling. He spent most of his days tending to his small garden, a patch of green amidst the concrete jungle of the compound. He grew everything from tomatoes to bitter leaf, sharing his harvest with all the tenants. Landlord, as Baba Ibeji. Here, take some tomatoes, fresh from the garden. Baba Ibeji was the peacemaker, the calming presence in Mama Ibeji's storm. He had a way of smoothing things over, of diffusing tense situations with a joke and a gentle pat on the back. He was the one we went to when we needed advice or just a listening ear. While Mama Ibeji ruled with an iron fist, Baba Ibeji ruled with kindness and laughter. He was the quiet force in the compound, the one who reminded us that even in the midst of chaos there was always room for peace and understanding. Life in the compound was a delicate dance. You had to know when to speak up and when to keep quiet, when to offer help and when to mind your own business. It was a constant negotiation, a balancing act of personalities and expectations, but somehow we all managed to coexist, finding humor and camaraderie in the midst of the chaos. S4. Media, group of diverse neighbors laughing together in a communal area, friendly greetings exchanged between neighbors in a compound. Hey there, S3, good morning. Living under Mama Ibeji's watchful eye was an art form. You had to be strategic, always one step ahead. Pay your rent on time or face her wrath. Keep your space clean or be subjected to her lectures. And never, ever, park in her designated spot, not even for a minute. Her 2 daughters, Neka and Ada, were like extensions of her reign, beautiful girls, but with their mother's sharp eyes and even sharper tongues. I made sure to stay on their good side, always a polite greeting, a respectful nod. You never knew when you might need their favor. One scorching afternoon, I returned home from work, weary and hungry. The only available parking space was Mama Ibeji's, usually marked by a strategically placed bucket. But today, the bucket was mysteriously absent. I hesitated, a bead of sweat trickling down my forehead. Just for a few minutes, I mumbled to myself, pulling into the forbidden zone. Big mistake. No sooner had I stepped out of my car than Mama Ibeji materialized, seemingly out of thin air. Her eyes were blazing, her voice like thunder.
Is this your father's house?
My heart pounded in my chest. I stammered, trying to explain, but she wouldn't hear it. She launched into a tirade about respect, boundaries, and the audacity of parking in her spot. Her words washed over me, a torrent of anger and frustration. I knew better than to argue. This was Mama Ibeji in full form. As Mama Ibeji's voice reached a fever pitch, a strange sound cut through the tension. Laughter. Not just a chuckle, but a full-blown, belly-shaking laughter. It was Baba Ibeji, emerging from his garden, a watering can in hand. He had witnessed the entire scene and his eyes twinkled with amusement.
My dear, is this what is giving you high blood pressure this afternoon? It is just a parking spot.
His words, spoken with such lightheartedness, broke the tension. Mama Ibeji's shoulders slumped slightly and a hint of a smile touched her lips.
You see this man? Always making light of everything.
The atmosphere shifted. Mama Ibeji's anger seemed to dissipate, replaced by a grudging amusement. She turned to me, her voice still stern but laced with a hint of humor.
Next time, young man, find another place to park your wahala.
And with that she turned and walked away, Baba Ibeji chuckling softly beside her.